Hello once again, glad to have you back on Arise Prime Time, where we offer perspectives on the news and talking points of the day. I am Ndi Amugu. As part of the federal government's plans to consolidate its Power Reform Act, the Rural Electrification Agency was also established to provide electricity access to residents, commercial, industrial, and social activities in rural and peri-urban areas of the country. With a new focus on off-grid solutions to rural electrification, how far has the Rural Electrification Agency gone in bringing rural-dwelling Nigerians into its electrification net? To discuss this, I'm delighted to have the Managing Director of the Rural Electrification Agency, REA, Nigeria, Mr. Abba Aliyu, on Prime Time. Glad to have you join us, Abba.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. What's the penetration so far? Let's start there. What's your objective for the year? 85 million Nigerians currently lack access, and the World Bank is saying that Nigeria has the world's largest deficit in electricity accessibility.
Thank you very much. Like you rightly said, the Rural Electrification Agency is created to bridge the electricity access gap by providing electricity to unserved and underserved communities. So what we basically do is go to these communities that are without this access and deploy generation, distribution, and metering within this community and provide them with the electricity. And the reason why the federal government is embarking on that, it's because it is a strategic decision. One, these rural communities that are without this access, their consumption is very low compared to the people that are in urban areas. So it is economically more viable than to deploy the infrastructure within this community rather than extend the national grid. It costs about $1.5 million, for example, to build one kilometer of transmission line, talk less of the distribution line and connecting to these communities. So since their consumption is very low, you now deploy the generation plant within this community, build the distribution line and connect these communities. That is one reason. The second reason, apart from being economically viable, is also we have the abundance of this renewable energy. Okay. We have high level of solar irradiation, we have the wind energy, the biomass capacity, as well as small and medium micro hydro all over the country. So it's our own way of utilizing our natural resources to create economic value within the country. So that is why we are embarking in this kind of area. And you rightly said that, yes, the country has the largest or the highest number of people, yes, with this deficit. And reason being that the rate at which the electrification rate and the population growth is not going at hand in hand. The population is growing much higher rate compared to the electrification rate. And that is why now the government of President Bola Tinubu sees it strategically feasible to say that, okay, let's take this issue of electricity deficit and face it heads on. And that is why one of the first things this government has done is to sign the distributed access through renewable energy scale-up, one of the biggest public sector funded off-grid project in the entire world. Planned and designed to bridge this access gap. So rather than facing the situation, going to one community, this government said that let's develop a strategic plan that can harness this renewable energy and provide electricity to this large number of people that are without electricity access. And this project was designed based on a success of a previous project. There was, before the days, there was the Nigeria Electrification project, a $550 million project that was implemented by Rural Electrification Agency, which on record has provided electricity to over 8 million Nigerians. So the numbers that you are counting should be less by 8 million people,
million.
exactly, and more. And we also intervene in very specific sectors of the economy. We intervene in education, we intervene in health, agriculture, and small and micro, medium enterprises.
Okay, let's take this further.
Yes.
Let me quote you. I think we've never had it so good, this good.
Yes.
REA's budget proposal for this year is excellent. Your words on the increase of REA budget to 500 billion from 160 billion, if I'm correct. How do you intend to employ this money? This must make you very happy. But how do you intend to employ this?
So one, it's to show the determination of the president. In fact, even me, I was really surprised when I see the budget allocation for rural electrification. But it shows the determination to address the issue of electricity access gap. If you analyze the budget, 100 billion naira was provided as a proposal for an initiative, a presidential initiative that was designed by the president called the National Public Sector Solarization Initiative.
You called it the key aspect of your 2025 National Public Sector Solarization Initiative.
Exactly. And this project was conceived after looking at the budget, the numbers, the implementation of previous budget. So I give you an example. If you look at the implementation of the previous budget, 144 MDS, ministries, departments, and agencies of the government spent close to 30 billion just for in purchase of diesel. And the projection based on the rate at which that number was spent, if the rate is for them to spend close to 50 billion before the end of the year in purchase of diesel. So in this present government quest of reducing cost of governance, we now said that, okay, why shouldn't we provide upfront costs to solarize this institution and reserve that 50 billion and channel it towards others important aspects of managing the Nigerian socio-economic areas, be it health or education. So that is the essence of this. So the National Public Sector Solarization Initiative is focusing to solarize key government agencies, starting from the State House. We will start across covering the Nigerian Polytechnics, Nigerian College of Education, health institution, other government entities that are not even within the federal capital, that are all over the Nigeria. That is the target of it, and that is our determination. And this was also designed based on the success of other interventions that we have done. So I give you an example. Currently, the Rural Electrification Agency had completed the solarization of 7 federal universities, one of which is here in Abuja. Okay. If you go to University of Abuja, the entire university, including the staff quarters, admin block, are all having 24/7 electricity from the renewable mini grid that we deployed there. So that is one aspect of it, and that is, it's not only University of Abuja. If you go to University of Maiduguri, we deployed a 12 megawatt that is powering the university, the teaching hospital, and we are even, based on the excess capacity to power, we are planning to power the water treatment plant that is serving the Maiduguri metropolitan. If you go, the same thing if you go to University of Dusemma in Katsina State, it's there. We provided that electricity. So this 7 university and 2 teaching hospitals completed. And as we have just completed it, we started another round of 8 universities and 1 teaching hospital.
Across the nation? Across the nation. South to the east?
So the 8, it's University of Calabar with the teaching hospital. There is also University of Port Harcourt, Federal University of Technology in Imo, Owerri, Federal University in Uyo, Akwa Ibom. It's one of these universities.
How do you determine your next project? Is there any criteria for determining?
Yes. So the readiness of the universities in terms of, one, providing us with land, because we want the university to provide us with the land where we will put in the solar system. There are also ability to quickly do environmental social impact assessment, minimum cost of displacement. So we look at all these criteria to determine this aspect of it.
I was wondering, I don't know how you coordinate your activities. Do you have offices across the nation or something?
Yes. We have 6 offices in each geopolitical area of the country. Offices help us with coordination and also determining the monitoring and evaluation and project preparation.
All right, talk to us about 30 million Nigerians will have electricity through what you call isolated mini grids, 1.5 million through what you call interconnected mini grids, and then 12.5 million through mesh grids and solar. Could you just...
So these are the targets. So whenever we design a project, we design it with a target. And this is our own way of making ourselves accountable to Nigerians and people like you to really come back tomorrow to ask us that you said you want to achieve this. Have you achieved it?
Measurable,
exactly. So these are targets that we set up for ourselves in the implementation of the DES project, the Distributed Access Through Renewable Energy Scale-Up. We set a target to electrify 17.5 million Nigerians. And I clearly said that 3 million of them using interconnected mini grids, 1.5 million, using interconnected mini grid, 3 million using isolated mini grids, and 12 million using both standalone solar home system and mesh grid. So these are targets that we set for ourselves. Not only that, another target is to electrify 3.2 million households. That would, if you multiply, it will give you the 17.5. We also have target of 230 small and medium enterprises, and at the same time also target of about nano and micro, about 1 million nano and micro small business enterprises. So these are targets that we set ourselves, and with the project we have already started it. The interconnected mini grid, for example, we just issued that we are currently evaluating submission for the deployment of 40 interconnected mini grids in different parts of this country. And why we also embarking on interconnected mini grid, it's the wisdom of the Honorable Minister of Power is, as we are trying to strengthen the grid to help people have sustained electricity, people in the band A, B, and C, the minister directed REA to now start working from the bottom. So those that are in band E, D, E, what happens to them? So that is why REA is now coming in. So through the interconnected mini grid, we will strengthen and provide them with reliable electricity, because our interconnected mini grids connect with the main grid. So during the day that they don't get most of the supply, we would use our mini grid to supply them, to give them a minimum of 8 hours. Then during the night, based on the agreement we signed with the distribution companies, they will now provide them with additional hours during the night. So that is kind of a synergy to address to enhance reliability.
Now you talked about sustainability. So
yes.
How about the issue of security and continuity through sustainability?
So very good question. One of the key things that's to do with sustainability from REA's perspective is designing our project around the private sector, right? So it's no more government projects that is out there, which once deployed, everybody just enjoy the electricity, and after the lifespan of the equipment, it's no more working and everybody walks away. No. So we designed our project around the private sector. In each mini grid that we deploy, the private sector brings in their funding, and we bring capital subsidy or grant and combine it and deploy the mini grid. The wisdom of federal government subsidizing is to reduce the capital cost, which by extension will reduce the tariff. And also the essence of bringing the private sector is that once the private sector have a skin in the game, it means that they will continue to ensure that the mini grids operate over a very long period of time for them to recoup their investment and also achieve or get a predetermined internal rate of return. So that is the essence of it. And by that, the private sector, even after the lifespan of the batteries or the inverters or the panel, they would now be willing to put additional investment to change the batteries for the mini grids to continue to operate. So that is one key thing of sustainability that we build. The second is also the community buy-in. We don't deploy any mini grid to a community that is not ready to take in that. And we make it very clear that all our mini grids, there is no free electricity. Any electricity infrastructure built without commercial framework is bound to fail. So we make it clear to the community. We sit with the community. We are bringing this. This is the advantage, but you must do ABC, including this is the tariff. They agree with the private sector while we witness that, and based on that, we deploy the mini grid. And that is the secret of our sustainability.
And so they buy into and help secure your equipment.
Absolutely. So I give you an example. Recently, the vice president of the World Bank came and we took him to one of our sites here in Abuja, in Kilankwa, and he was there and had interaction with the community. He was amazed to see how the community, that people in a village, rural areas that we assume they don't even know technology, are using their mobile phones to recharge, to even check the balance of their credit in their meters using their mobile phones. This is an evidence that was even seen by the World Bank. So there's a lot of acceptance, a lot of integration and collaboration between the REA, the private sector, and the communities.
There is this that I have here. I'm trying to guess it. It has to, okay, well, let's deal with this. What is the, the DES project, the DES project that you say is the largest public sector funded off-grid project in the world.
Yes.
And you have secured 750 million for it in the world.
Yes.
Talk to us about it.
So like I said, this is one of the key achievements of this government. The president, when he joined, when he assumed duty, immediately after signing the Electrification Act, was the approval of the $750 million funding from the World Bank for this biggest project in Nigeria. And like I said, the project funded by the World Bank, implemented by Royal Electrification Agency, the 750 is just what the government is bringing in. Okay. The project will crystallize a private sector funding of $1.1 billion. So it's a total of $1.850 billion. Government providing 750, private sector providing $1.1 billion.
Does that include bilateral funding?
No, the private sector is their own funding.
Okay.
And what we also did is to make it easy for the Nigerian RESCOs, the Renewable Energy Service Company, to have access to the private sector funding. Just recently, we signed an agreement with International Finance Corporation where they provided funding of $250 million debt and equipment financing to the Nigerian private sector companies and international companies that they can access and deploy this infrastructure in the implementation of the DES project. So that is what this present government is doing. And like I said, the target is to electrify 17.5 million Nigeria, which is a total population of some African countries. So this is to show how daring
truly distributed
it is
energy
that.
project.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
We will currently we are counting our mini grids in 180 mini grids. By the end of the DES project, we are looking at to deploy 1,350 mini grids. And what is even interesting, it's now based on the success, based on this model, the entire African countries are copying what Nigeria had succeeded in institutionalizing.
Really?
Yes, on the 24th, 25th, 26th, there will be Head of African Nation summit in Tanzania on the Mission 300, another World Bank and African Development Bank project where they want to bridge all the electricity gap in the sub-Saharan Africa. Nigeria is taking lead in that regard to showcase how they were able to develop this system and achieve the achievement we recorded, which I just shared with you. We are taking that. Some even African countries are pushing that REA should create like an African renewable university for them to become sending their rural electrification staff to come to Nigeria and learn. And this is something that will happen very soon.
I hope so. That's interesting. That's good news. If Nigeria's energy transition is the most advanced, according to Hakeem Disu, co-founder Lihon Energy, compared to other African countries, why are we still struggling with electricity supply? I'm wondering.
I don't think we are still struggling from the context of energy transition. It takes time. If you look at the number, you quoted the number of people that are without access. The number you quoted, this is the total population of countries like Germany or Turkey. Turkey is 70 million people, and you quoted 85 million. So the level of the challenge, it's why...
That means we're not really planning.
No, so it's a question of the previous effort that has been done, right? And that is why I told you, it is now that the government is saying that, okay, so we have been struggling with this issue of electricity. Let's even face it heads on. Let's see what we can do. Taking 17.5 million Nigerians out of electricity poverty, it's a big thing. And it's been spoken all over the world. And that is what we're doing. And already, as we're talking of this 17.5 million, funding and arrangement for additional 20 million Nigerians that will be taken out of this electricity, it's already underway.
Let me ask you this question, because we just have about 1 minute to run.
Yes.
This is very important. Talk to us about how your work will attract foreign investors, improve and help local investors, and reduce employment, thereby contributing to national economy.
This is very easy. This is evident. You can, I can give you figures. Here in Abuja, there is a company called JRV, just is about to finish commissioning a 200 megawatt PB panel assembly plant. This is as a result of the market-making effort that are working with REA. There's NDE, another company in Lagos that started producing panels here in Nigeria, in Lagos, 100 megawatt capacity. When the Minister of Power accompanied Mr. President to China, one of the key outcomes of that is REA signing agreement with an electric vehicle assembly plant. I tweeted this just last week. One has already started in Kano. Another one is coming up in Gombe, Oyo, and here in Abuja. So we also have signed an agreement with Naseni and REA for the establishment of lithium battery assembly plant in also Lekki Free Trade Zone, $150 million investment. So all these are happening. It's not coming up.
I'm wondering whether you people are making enough noise.
Well, that is one of the things that REA needs to do more. And in April, we are going to have the international summit of all the local manufacturers, from the PV panels, battery, inverters, even cables, even wires. We want to have that local summit where we will take stock of all this for the Nigerians to see the level of local investment that is being crystallized as a result of the effort of REA.
All right. Abba Abubakar Aliyu, the MD, Rural Electrification Agency. Thank you for your time on Arise Prime Time.
Thank you.
All right, well, that's it for this edition of Arise Prime Time. Do join us again. From me and the entire team here in Abuja, goodbye, and thank you for watching.